Zevlor's Sleep Stories. Performed by Glenn McCready.
A Study of Sleep with Omeluum by Kardysis. Greetings, child of the sun. It has been some time since our last conversation. I hope you have been keeping well. You have been doing marvelously in your progression within the Underdark, and you are well on your way to completing your task. Yet, I have noticed signs of fatigue. Your usual mental acuity is not with you. May I take a look? Yes, I see. You are suffering from a lack of sleep. Correct. The tiredness around your eyes is unmistakable. Yet sleep still eludes you, does it not? While our physiological differences are apparent, we both require a state of rest to face a new day with a fresh mind. I understand the troubles of having a restless mind myself, becoming consumed with my research. I have at times neglected taking a rest and risked burning out and ruining months of work. Perhaps I can be of help to you. Coincidentally, I am conducting research which involves the sleeping patterns of different species. And while I have a limited sample size for my qualitative studies, I believe aiding you in your quest for a better night's rest would be beneficial for both of us. If this is an acceptable exchange for you, please follow me. We shall retreat from the bustle of the Myconid colony and instead enter my research room. That is where I keep many of my notes, bound in leather journals from the surface. Spare paper made from susur bark. Bottles of both varying sizes and shapes, which hold my repertoire of alchemical substances and herbs, and of course, my adjoining study. You are free to look around my research laboratory, but please take care not to damage anything, as I am still conducting multiple studies in this room, not to mention the pet project that Blurg has decided to conduct in the room's eastern corner. I believe he mentioned something regarding harnessing the bioluminescence of the local variety of fungi and finding a way to incorporate it into a portable lantern for longer foraging outside of the well-lit colony. Of course, you may think that using torches alone should suffice. However, the dangers of using such a light source within the Underdark are warranted. There are different types of fungi which, upon exposure to heat, will erupt in a violent volley of explosions. Along with such a heated light source attracting the attention of organisms which can detect such changes in temperature and find a meal for themselves whilst one is conducting a survey of the land or research in the society's case. Blurg's idea of fungi-lit lamps shall be most intriguing to see to fruition when he decides to test it when we require more supplies. Over to the rightmost corner is also a small experiment I have been conducting. It is nothing more than something to work on in between my other works, but I find it to be intriguing nonetheless. I have been assessing how some manner of mushrooms native to the Underdark may thrive on different food sources. As you can see, I have a few samples which have been thriving. Of course, by using meat, it has already attached its spores onto the organic material and begun to reproduce, while the other, with this piece of bark from the suso tree, is taking longer in comparison. However, still surviving. In a few days, I shall have enough information to conclude my research on these species of spores. Ah, yes, that burgundy door leads to my study. Please follow me inside. It is quite well lit within the room. There is candlelight within. The orange light is much more calming than the white light from the bioluminescence outside. You are free to look around in this room however you wish. It is a place of leisure for myself and my other associates from the Society of Brilliance. Often one can become lost in the collective library we have culminated here, as well as the loft chairs and thick blanketing of carpet on the floor. Some are of sheep wool, others are of a thicker variety of wolf pelts and feathered pillows. I have witnessed Blurg falling asleep in the study on several occasions due to the comfortable nature of this room. I believe it shall be most helpful to us and our research. You shall find rest, and I shall remain to write my observations. I believe that a good place to start in achieving a more relaxed state would be to induce a meditative state in oneself, to relax both tensions in the physical body as well as one's mind. This will alleviate yourself from the stressors of the day and move you into a quiet, peaceful night's rest. To begin, please get comfortable, whether it is in the armchair we keep for reading, or in the loft bed with comfortable pillows. Finding a place to settle into comfort is of utmost importance for this experiment. As you settle yourself, begin to remove yourself from all other outside thoughts, focusing only on the task at hand. The day's events are no longer relevant as you lay back and ground yourself to the moment that is and where you are now, rather than lingering in the tasks that preceded you in being here. Now that you are comfortable, continue to remember yourself at this moment. Take note of how you rest against the chair or bed, how your head rests against the soft cushioning beneath it, and what position your arms naturally fall in this posture. Concentrate on your breaths and how they remain steady as you breathe in and out. Let us now continue with our meditative method. This technique is called the body scan method, and as the name suggests, it involves holding a mental overview of one's own body, taking note of where the most tension lies, and relaxing those parts of the body. This method will help you become aware of lingering thoughts about the day that has transpired, and aid you in letting go, unwinding physically to a calm, relaxed state before drifting off to sleep. With your eyes closed, imagine a ball of light, warm and flickering like the welcoming flame of a candle. Picturing a warm swirl of light in your mind's eye, which begins at the base of the body, at the tips of your feet. Let the orb move upwards in the body, going from the tips of the toes to the heels, taking note of any lingering tension within and releasing it by relaxing them into a position they would naturally rest. As the light moves upwards throughout the body, take note of any lingering tensions not noticed before, and bring the body to a more relaxed state by simply letting go, allowing yourself to be here in this moment and away from any discomfort still lingering from the day's stressful events. Becoming aware of any such thoughts or tensions and acknowledging them and putting them aside. Focus on the warming light as it travels upwards to the sides of you, traveling up the body and moving towards the right shoulder, observing any tension and relaxing the shoulders back against the cushioning beneath you, settling in and looking at how the light pulsates in the shoulder and moves to the arm, the elbow, the wrist, the hand, and the tips of the fingers, letting the tension in your arm fade as you let yourself rest. Letting your body come to a state of calmness, keeping the orb of light on your fingertips before it goes back into the body, through the arm, and moves upwards to the neck, then settling on your forehead, feeling the gentle tingling sensation as the light pulsates. If you find your mind wandering away from you and latching onto other thoughts, become aware of these thoughts and make note of how many times you find yourself drifting away from the meditation and then returning to the present moment, remaining grounded to where you are now physically. Let the light move from the mind down through your neck to your shoulder, the orb of light making its way towards the leftmost part of your body, reminding yourself to take in steady breaths, inhaling and exhaling slowly and calmly. All other thoughts about what you need to do tomorrow are removed from your mind in this moment as you focus on your breath. Now, picture once more that this light is moving through the leftmost side of your body, pulsating down your left arm, becoming aware of any lingering tension in the arm and relaxing it against the cushioning beneath you, moving down the arm. The light jumps from the tips of your fingers to your left hip. The orb of light moves down and ends at the end of the left foot. Taking note of any further tensions and relaxing the body to the surface beneath you. Coming to a state of rest, taking in deep breaths, holding and releasing the breath. How are you feeling now, sun child? I see that you are much more relaxed than when we first started, but you have yet to fall asleep. Perhaps another approach is needed. Would you like for me to tell you a story? I could recount to you the time myself and Blurg were foraging for supplies for the Society of Brilliance. We begin our story in the Myconid colony. It had not been long since myself and my colleagues had decided to use the Underdark as our base to conduct our research. We had been warmly welcomed by the locals, those who hold striking resemblances to various forms of fungi, yet hold an intelligent mind. We soon came to realize that their people welcomed peaceful explorers and scholars alike. The colony was the first place in which I had found true refuge, as well as my colleagues of the Society of Brilliance. Additionally, we were interested in the flora which inhabited the Underdark. Unique foliage possessing bioluminescence that cleared up the bleakness of the Underdark with vibrant blues and reds. Spores which can enhance one temporarily, and other variants of mushroom which would be inadvisable to approach blindly. One such variety tending to implode in a fiery, noxious gas upon contact with a torch, for instance. It was quite unusual to find such vibrant colors within the Underdark. You see, the bleakness had seemed endless until we stumbled upon this area, and much more peaceful than the surface for myself. I found little to no disturbances, nor prejudice amongst the Myconids. It must have been during the first few weeks of settling into the colony, when Blurg pointed out to me that we had used most of our reserves for supplies. We were in desperate need of replenishing them. Thus, we would have to forage just outside of the Myconids' territory to find the ingredients we needed. The terrain had little need for torches. It was quite convenient to bring back bundles of supplies that way, along with not attracting the attention of creatures that thrive here. We took note of the blooms of fungi which migrate, floating on currents created by their own mother plants' bodies, spiraling each tufted seed into the air as a spore and guiding it to the deep violets of the sky within this place, landing on any surface which can host the spore. We had no trouble finding our way through the patches of mushroom. Then to find what we were looking for. Blurg had called me over once he collected the sample I had been missing for one of my research projects. It was a cluster of lime green luminescent mushrooms, almost honeycombed. The proper name is dragon egg mushrooms. We set out to both document and collect our ingredients. Yet I could not help but admire the ability of the mushroom to thrive in the most extreme environments, where most other organisms could not survive in the Underdark. Nearly all species of fungi found on the surface thrived here. I found this notion to be most intriguing, and in a way I could relate to the spores. I too came to the Underdark when the surface could no longer habituate me. I much preferred a cooler and drier area to work in as well. Most of the ingredients I work with require meticulous storage to remain dormant. The dry specimens benefit from a lack of exposure to ultraviolet radiation, for instance. Others are kept in a variety of flasks, each a different colored glass, from a dark green to a light blue. From the kiln they were forged. Some are filled with oils to keep my materials safe from oxidizing or from reacting to the air itself that we breathe. I had become rather enraptured with picking mushrooms for my reserve when I took note of a phenomenon I had not expected to occur while Blurg and I were out foraging. It began with a twinkle of light in the distance, akin to a light a pixie might produce. Upon further inspection, I soon came to realize that these various colored orbs of light were seed pods, spores from multiple specimens of plants in a flurry of color were floating across the Underdark. The various hues of purple, blue, green, and yellow tufts floating across the lower and upper cave walls brought to attention the grandeur of this place. Despite being underground and away from the light, the allure of how intricate life was below the surface was portrayed perfectly in that moment. It was as if the seedlings were carried by an invisible breeze, floating and dancing in whimsical spirals, down until a few landed right at my feet. They felt and looked rather fluffy when I picked up a few to observe. Poking them with a finger was an enjoyable experience. They did not crumple from the weight and bounced back, almost like little cotton balls. While I was tempted to observe the seedling further, I felt something hit the side of my face. Startled, I looked up, only to see that Blurg had opted to throw one of the fluffed seeds at me. I would have been offended if not for the light smile on his face. It was merely a jest on his part. We let go of the few spores remaining, allowing them to continue their journey as we continued ours. Sunchild, your eyes are closed, I see. Your breathing has become slow and steady. You have already begun to drift off. There is no need to fight sleep anymore. Our story has come to its end, and you must rest. Should you need me, I shall be here. Good night.